One of the most hotly debated topics in Star Citizen is around the way which coolers function, with many claiming that an upgraded cooler will increase cooldown times or help to stave off overheating, whilst others state that they don't. So, do better coolers really have an effect? To find out, grab your towel and come along to the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Verse.
Quantum travel initiated.
I'll begin with the testing methodology used. Now there are two prominent claims here which we will be testing. The first is that a higher cooling capacity will lengthen the amount of time taken to overheat or will speed up cooldown. The second is that the draw request time will do the same. There is a third theory which we can address here too, and that's if the temp to IR makes a difference also. To test the first theory, we will be using an ultra-flow cooler, which has the highest cooling rate available for a size 1 cooler, as well as the highest temp to IR value. To test the second theory, we will be using the Zero Rush, which has the fastest draw request time and also has half the temp to IR value of the Ultraflow. The stock bracer will form the control, as it sits comfortably in the middle of the two others, having roughly half the cooling rate of the Ultraflow, as well as 4 times the draw request time of the Zero Rush. For all tests, I'm going to be using an Aegis Avenger Titan, as it's the only ship I have which will overheat the engines easily without spinning out of control. Only a single cooler will be fitted at any time, and additionally we will be testing with 3 different weapons to see if there is a difference there. The Mantis GT220 will be there for ballistics, the model XJ3 for distortion, and the Attrition 4 for energy weapons. All tests are going to be done 3 times over and an average value taken. Now with that all addressed, onto the tests. Do note that some of the footage you're about to see is sped up to save time. First up is the Mantis GT220. Next, we have the model XJ3. Next up is the Attrition 4. And finally, we have the main thrusters. Now then, let's collate all the data together. If you want to see the raw numbers for yourself, then there will be a Google Doc linked in the description with all the data. First, let's look at the Mantis. The chart on screen shows the average values from each test, for each of the 3 coolers, and is measured in seconds. The blue icons are the time taken to overheat, and the orange is the time to cool down. From the charts, we can see that, whilst there is a variance in both overheat and cooldown values, this variance is small, being 444 and 55 milliseconds respectively. Looking then at the XJ3, we see a similar story. There is some variance between the values, with a difference of 556 milliseconds between the highest and lowest. However, whilst the highest value for the Mantis was the Zero Rush, here it's the Bracer. The same continues again for the Attrition, with a variance of 611 milliseconds, but this time with the Ultraflow being the highest. Finally, we have the Thrusters, which again show only a slim variance, this time with 722 milliseconds. So then, what is the takeaway from this? Whilst there is a variance in each of the tests, such a small variance is to be expected due to the stability, or lack thereof, of Star Citizen. In short, the values may as well be the same, and it's fair to say that changing your cooler makes no difference in preventing overheating or in aiding cooldown. And just to quickly address a potential statement that we will get from this, which we have seen thrown around occasionally, the time taken before weapons or thrusters became usable again did not vary between tests. Cooldown is linear, and the heat values are fixed on a per item basis. That said, don't worry, we did still check. So why would you ever consider upgrading your cooler? Well, there are 3 reasons. The first reason, and the most likely to come up, is that the other upgrades you have applied to your ship simply exceed the amount of cooling that the stock coolers provide. The second is that you wish to min-max your stealth capabilities. The third reason is for PvP heavy players. As of Alpha 3.11, distortion weapons are now capable of shutting down your coolers, and are by many accounts the current meta, making a low draw request time for the coolers a critical consideration. With that said, if none of this applies to you, then don't waste your credits. Stick with the stock coolers. And that's all on that. Let us know your thoughts down below. This took a lot of time to test, so please do make sure that you like, sub, share, all that wonderful jazz. And with that, we thank you for watching, and we'll catch y'all next time.